Good morning class 12. Welcome to your revisional session. We are getting started with your first chapter, that is the Cold War era. Now your chapter is beginning with the issue of Cuban Missile Crisis. So what was this entire issue? Let us revise it once again. Cuba, which was an island nation in the southern parts of United States of America, here this country was getting support from Union of Socialist Soviet Republic, that is USSR, both politically as well as economically. So in the year 1961, Nikita Khrushchev and his other members, they had a notion that USA might invade Cuba. So that is why they thought of securing this country. Now, in the year 1962, Nikita Khrushchev placed the nuclear missiles in Cuba. Because of the placement of these nuclear missiles and other weapons, what happened? The cities of USA were now in a very close range and the naval bases of USA as well. So it was very much possible for Cuba to open an attack on USA. After 3 weeks, that is after 21 days, somehow USA came to know about this placement of missiles as well as nuclear weapons. And who was there in power? John F. Kennedy was there in power. He was the president of USA. So though he was not interested in a war, but definitely was determined to get Khrushchev to remove missiles. For this purpose, what did USA do? They started placing their naval ships all across Cuba, somehow creating a blockade, and none of the USSR ships were allowed to enter the ocean areas of Cuba. Why? Because they wanted USSR to remove the nuclear missiles. Now, both the sides decided to avoid a war because both had understood very well from the results of the Second World War that if they wage a war, again a lot of destruction will take place because USA as well as USSR both were holding nuclear armaments. So somehow they decided to avoid the war, and ultimately Nikita Khrushchev also showed wiseness and he withdrew the nuclear weapons from Cuba. So this whole context is known as the Cuban Missile Crisis. Now, what is the Cold War? As I had told you, by means to. So, Cold War is a condition where there was a lot of competition, tensions and series of confrontations between USA and USSR, that is Union of Soviet Socialist Republic. As you very well know that USA was following the ideology of capitalism, which means that the power and wealth can be accumulated in the hands of few, while USSR was following the ideology of communism or socialism, which means that the government would be in command and more equality would be maintained in the society. So both these superpowers, they were trying to hold more and more allies. They were trying to attract more and more countries to support them in their ideology. USA wanted countries to follow democracy, while USSR wanted the allied countries to follow communism. So there were a series of proxy war. Proxy means when the country is not directly involved, but definitely they give a backing to other countries, or they give financial or political support in other countries. For example, on page number 8, you have a series of events. One of them is the Korean War, which took place in 1951 till 1953. Then American intervention in Vietnam, Soviet intervention in Hungary, the Cuban Missile Crisis, the Marshall Plan, the Molotov Plan, they were all in the series of these confrontations, competitions and tensions.